and with Corey.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's well this week.
Welcome to another edition of Unlocking Your Truth, which is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. And we broadcast every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time on CIVL on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley and from the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation. We also broadcast the show live on our Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group and on my YouTube channel. And if you watch it on YouTube or on the Facebook group, you actually get to see the show a week in advance and you get to participate in the show because we have the chat room and we can read your comments and read your questions and answer your questions.
Oh, sounds good.
So the main way now is not to phone into the studio anymore. It's actually to join the Facebook group.
Because we're not there.
Yes, it's called Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group.
Yay.
So tonight's episode of the show is going to be, how does what you eat impact your intuition?
Finally, pizza.
How does what you eat impact your intuition? Is there a spiritual diet? And thank you for that suggestion. That was suggested by Tracy and Bronwyn, two of our listeners. Both thought that would be a good topic. And I think it is as well. And I'm not even sure that it's something that we've ever talked about before on the show. So I'm going to read out what these two ladies asked, and then we'll have a discussion about it. So what Tracy asked is, could you talk about how the foods we eat and drink affect our intuition? Things like soda, coffee, and energy drinks. Do certain foods like fast foods block our intuition? And she's also heard that fluoride toothpaste can cause a buildup. And then Bronwyn said, as I have started to awaken, I feel urged to eat extremely healthy foods, vegan. I have no interest in drinking alcohol or taking medication, even pain pills for a headache. I've been scared to mess with my energy in any way, and I've also stopped smoking and feel that spirit is guiding pretty strongly on this.
Good for you.
Yeah, so that's our discussion topic today. And I'm going to answer it from the perspective of vibration. Your vibration and the vibration of the food that you're eating. And I'm also going to answer it from the perspective of the relationship between body and spirit. So you've probably heard me say many times on this show, if you're a regular listener, you are not your body, you are spirit. Your body is your vessel, your body is your vehicle. And so for you to have access to your intuition, to your psychic abilities through the physical body, you need to cultivate that relationship with your body. You need to cultivate your body to become a willing partner on your spiritual journey. So that really means taking care of your body, taking your body into consideration. All right. So let's talk about, and okay. I don't think that what I want to do is address it on those levels, but also maybe talk a little bit about microbiology and biochemistry of the body.
Oh,
why not?
But that's an unfair advantage, Dr. Leslie.
All right, so let's talk about, okay. So in order to access your intuition, you need to, first of all, you need to be in charge of your reality. physical body is a biological organism. And it has its sort of natural animal instincts. So some of the instincts that might cause a problem for you in accessing your intuition are the emotions, the intellect, and the sex drive. Those tend to be the three things that dominate the human experience, and they dominate the unconscious human experience. All of those three things, they come from the body. Its emotions, its intellect, and sex drive. And so, like, you think of the body a bit like a wild stallion that you need to tame, okay, in order for you to consciously live your life through that body. So that means you need to, but and also on the other hand, the body has its own innate mechanisms within it that allow it to be constantly bringing about balance within the biological organism. Okay, so there's natural programming within the cells of the body that make that organism balance things out. So that means it does have its own ability, when you, whatever substances that you're putting into it, to do a balancing act. Okay, so let's talk again a bit more about that body-spirit relationship. If you don't take care of your body will fight you. If your body fights you, it will be difficult for you to meditate, to turn within, to access the still quiet voice within, to access your intuition, because you will have all of these other things that are screaming louder than that. So for example, if your body is really emotional, if you're hyper emotional, it's really hard for you to turn within, isn't it? You know, if you're analyzing stuff, it's hard for you to turn within. Now, what does that have to do with food? Well, it has to do with food because it's relating to taking care of your body. If your body is having issues, we'll all admit, won't we, that there's a direct relationship between feeling emotionally disturbed and having a food craving, or if you abuse substances, feeling emotionally disturbed and, you know, having a craving towards that substance. So there's a direct relationship between the vibration that's going on in the body and maybe even what the body craves. And if you continue to feed it, you know, those unhelpful things, then eventually you might develop a disease. And then it's even harder for you, if you've got the distraction of a physical disease, to be able to connect with your intuition. Okay. So that's one part of the answer to this question. You need to have a harmonious relationship between body and spirit so that the body is a willing partner in your conscious life journey. So it doesn't fight you, so it doesn't resist you, so that you can be the master of your own personal universe, which is your body and your energy field, and you can command what you're doing with it. Like if you want to sit down and meditate and connect with your higher being, you know, you want a body that's complicit in that, that accepts that, that doesn't fight that in any way. So let's also talk about vibration. So another ingredient for accessing your intuition is to raise your vibration. Everything is energy, everything has vibration. You have a vibration and food has a vibration. So let's talk about those two things. So there's a different vibration between an animal that has been cared for and loved and given, lived on a farm and given free rein, than an animal that's a factory farm animal that's been abused, right? Physical things will absorb the emotional energy. So if an animal is disturbed and you eat the meat of that disturbed animal, then there's going to be a disturbance and a low vibration in that meat, So, and the same thing with plants. You could eat a plant that is organic and healthy, that's been really cared for, or you can eat a plant from a huge monoculture that's been sprayed with glyphosate and other chemicals. And there's a difference in vibration between the same plant grown in those two different ways. So you are taking a substance that has a vibration, and then you are placing that substance with that vibration into your body, and you're absorbing that vibration into your body. And so that's going to have an impact on you and your body. Okay. And so now that's not the end of the story. So let's talk about your vibration, because you have an ability to control your own vibration. And you also have an ability to manipulate the vibration of other things. I know Corey's not going to like this next one that I say, but there's a tradition on the planet of blessing food. And it doesn't have to be associated with religion at all, but think of it this way. In blessing the food, or in channeling high vibration energy through a food substance, you are raising its vibration, and you can be clearing the lower vibrations from the food before you put the food into your body. And I don't know how many of you would have heard of, there's a really well-known Japanese scientist. He died about 6 years ago, Masaru Emoto. And he did research that kind of proves or what I'm just talking about, where he researched water crystals, and they spoke to the water, or they put labels on the water. And then after the water had sat with that energy, they looked at the ice crystals that were formed by the water. And water that had love, vibrations of love, gratitude, and higher vibrational energies that it had been exposed to, the crystals were absolutely beautiful. They were gorgeous. They were heavenly. And the crystals that have had hate, fear, jealousy, and words like that, programming them, didn't even form crystals. They just looked like sludge under the microscope. No crystals at all. So the food that you eat is predominantly water. Your body is predominantly water. So on the one hand, if you just eat the food and don't do anything else, then yes, you may be taking in a low vibration substance. But if you're an energy master, you can alter the vibration of the substance before you eat it. And you can also transmute the vibration of it when it's in your system as well. So I know a lot of people believe that there's a true spiritual diet, that we all should be vegan, or we all should be vegetarian, or we all should eat this and shouldn't eat that. And I honestly think, my opinion is that it is And I'm going to go more into this, but it's about the vibration. What's your vibration? How are you managing your vibration? How are you able to work with energy within yourself and within the things that you expose your body to? Because if you're an energy master, you can ensure that you're eating high vibration substances. The other thing is, it's gone straight out of my head what I was going to say. Give me a moment to get it back. Oh
Here,
yes.
I'll put it back in for you. There you go.
So the other thing is, what are you choosing to believe? Because whatever it is that you're choosing to believe is going to be true for you, and your reality will reflect that back as a result.
Curious Soul says he put one word down, which was really good. It's gratitude. Gratitude's a great word.
It's an amazing vibration. The vibration of gratitude is very close to love. It's receptive, and it's a super high vibration. Yeah, so and this speaks to why when people want to lose weight, it's like, well, what are you believing about the food that you're eating? Are you believing that that's what's packing on the pounds? Because there's plenty, you get differences, don't you, between people who eat the same things, and one person will put on weight and another one won't. And so often it's down to what that person is believing. So same thing. I mean, if you want to believe that there's a spiritual diet, that's great. Oh, hey, Corey's telling me we're going to have to go to a break, but I've got some more things I wanted to say. And we'll go into a bit more details about the specifics that the people asked. So we're going to take a break and then we'll be back.
No going to the fridge for a snack, folks. Stay tuned. Okay, Dr. Leslie.
Welcome back. You're tuning into Unlocking Your Intuition with Dr. Leslie. Tonight we're talking about, is there a spiritual diet? How do the foods that we eat affect our ability to tap into our intuition? And the answer is, to some degree, it depends on what you're believing about the foods that you're eating. The answer also is, it depends on your vibration and the vibration of the foods that you're eating. And I'm going to go back to Tracy's original question. How do the foods we eat and drink affect our intuition? What about soda, coffee, and energy drinks? So if those things are biochemically harming the body, then they're not going to assist you developing your intuition, because your body is not going to be feeling in alignment, and you need to have a partnership with your body. So if drinking coffee gives you leaky gut, if drinking soda is wiring your brain in a certain way because of the sugar, there might be a short-term gain where you get an energy boost, but perhaps over time, if you're not if you're not working with the energy of your body, like we were just talking about in the first section, then that's not going to be helpful for you, right? Do certain foods block your intuition? I've heard that fluoride toothpaste can cause a buildup. And what she's saying is that there's evidence, and I think there's actually scientific studies that have shown that fluoride builds up on the pineal gland. The pineal gland is kind of like the organ of the receiver of light, the receiver of spirit. And when we develop our clairvoyance, we are working with the pineal gland. So you certainly do not want your pineal gland to be calcified. So and I'm going to give the same answer to this. So on the one hand, you could avoid that substance and avoid the calcification, or you could work energetically to prevent the calcification happening. But, you know, what you don't want is you don't want your pineal gland to be calcified. And is there evidence that fluoride calcifies the pineal gland? Yes. So that kind of is one that you might want to avoid. I'm going to go over.
Well, before you move on, when you say calcified, what do you mean by calcified exactly?
Calcium deposits on the pineal gland.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't think you could get calcium deposits in your upper region.
I think you can probably get them anywhere, but you know, anyway, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of I don't even know whether the scientists that have shown that there's calcification of the pineal gland know how it gets there, but
Interesting.
that's a common one that people avoid when they're wanting to develop their intuition.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so our other listener that wrote in about this, I feel urged to eat extremely healthy foods, and her notion of extremely healthy foods is vegan, and she's had no interest in drinking alcohol. We haven't talked about alcohol yet. So if you get drunk, does that interfere with your intuition? Absolutely, yes. It does.
And with your logic, which is very interesting because it affects both.
Yeah. So what tends to happen? I mean, it minimizes your inhibitions. Energetically, you tend to be ungrounded. You tend to open up aspects of your energy field that kind of make you energetically leaky and vulnerable to other energies that are not you. A really drunk person, you know, when they get the spins, if you've been drunk and you've seen, you know, like the room spinning, that's actually your energy field spinning. So if somebody's taken alcohol, I won't give them a reading. Or taken drugs, not like ever, but like if they show up in that moment that they've had a drink, then they're not going to get a very good reading because their energy field is hard to home in on. And also they're not in the mental state to receive the information. And also if I mean, I don't mind the odd glass of wine, but I would never have a glass of wine before I did a reading, for example. So, you know, drinking alcohol can affect your intuition, but if you're only having a glass of wine with dinner, it's not going to have a permanent problem. But if you're getting drunk, I would say, yeah. Taking medication, pain pills for a headache. I had a headache today and I took a pain pill. I don't take them very often, but I actually did take one today, and I did a ton of readings today, and it didn't affect my intuition. So I'm going to say no to that one. However, if I was, I mean, any medicine, if I was taking them every day, I don't, you know, it has an effect on your body, but I have noticed when I have read people who are on medication, it does affect their energy field. It does affect their body as well. Because most medicines they're not silver bullets that are just going for the one thing that's wrong. They're having a systemic effect all over the body. So I've especially noticed people on antidepressants and those kinds of medicines that are used in mental health. Often they will have an effect of turning down a person's energy. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because, you know, if they've been bipolar or something, then the energy's being turned down. You cancer drugs as well can have a really significant effect on somebody's body and energy. And so, can they affect your intuition and your vibration? Yes, I guess the answer to that is yes, they can. But I would always say, and I have to say that if you are unwell, then, seek the advice of the appropriate experts, and then use your own free will to make your own decision about that. And then also Bronwyn mentioned smoking. Well, that's harmful to the body, isn't it? Would it stop you accessing your intuition? And all of these things, again, it's like in the short term, right? You could go to a psychic development course and be a smoker and still experience your psychic abilities. But you're not having a positive relationship with your body if you're constantly imbibing that harmful carcinogenic substance into your lungs. And so eventually that is going to affect your intuition, because you'll probably be too ill to even have, that focus. So it's not, in a way, it's not a black and white answer. The other thing I wanted to say is that everybody is unique. Everybody is unique. You have a unique frequency, you're a unique aspect of God. Your body is unique genetically, and your gut microbiome is unique. Your gene expression is unique. And so, historically, people have tended to tout, the latest diet for this and the latest diet for that, and and then it's going to work for everybody. Everybody should eat paleo. Everyone should eat keto. Everyone should be vegan. Everyone should do the Atkins diet. There is no one size fits all when it comes to what you put into your body. So you have to find what's right for you and what works for you. I mean, everybody's, you have many more microbial cells in your system than you have human cells. Your gut is full of bacteria that digest your food. Everybody's got a completely different gut microbiome. It's like, in a way, it's a bit like a fingerprint, except it changes, whereas fingerprints don't. And so I think that the best approach for anyone is to find what works for them. And maybe what works for you will change over time. Maybe your belief systems will change over time. Maybe, and here's the other thing, as you make shifts and changes within your system, the foods that you naturally want to eat might change. So in my Unlock Your Intuition course, we talk a lot about growth cycles and what is a growth cycle. So when we're learning to work with energy, when we're learning to develop our intuition, we're healing ourselves and we're making energetic changes and energetic shifts. So we're finding what in our system is of a low vibration, and we are clearing it out of the system. So if you've stored, I don't know, let's say you've stored some hate for your arch nemesis when you were in high school, and some fear about a traumatic event that happened when you were 5. Those are low vibrations that you've stored in your body. And ever since you put them there, they've been informing your reality. Because what shows up in your reality is a direct result of the energy that you're putting out. Okay, so we're doing an energy cleanup because we want to raise the vibration. We want to raise the vibration so we can access the the intuition. Got to forget my thread, my thought thread back again. That's what it was going to say. Every time you make a change as spirit, which happens instantaneously, that change has to integrate through the physical system. So any changes you make as spirit will have a response in your body. If you're clearing stuff out that you've stored in that system, there's going to be a response when you've removed it. And that response can be needing more sleep, needing more exercise, needing to eat more, needing to eat less, needing to, drink more water, changing your diet completely. And so I guess the other key is self-awareness. Intuition is all about self-awareness and awareness of your body as well, and what your body needs at any point in time to be healthy. And it looks like Corey's got a question or something.
No, not a question. I have. There's a question, but Georgia says, "This is so awakening. Thank you." But also, Lori says, we're talking about all the things not to eat, right? Lori has a question on what should we eat. Is there an energetic food to release the desire of certain foods out of my space?
So she's talking about cravings.
Yeah, I think so.
So remember we talked about the body is amazing, right? The body is amazing. Everything the body does takes time and space, right? But the body has a program in how to restore health, right? It's innate within the system. So when you let's say you're a sugar addict and you like donuts, you have a donut every day, and then you crave donuts. Well, what's happened is the body has had to balance out what you're putting in the system. So you're putting all this high sugar. So the body's had a response to the high sugar to try and keep the system in balance. Okay, so whatever it's doing biochemically, it's what's the word? It's activated. Now the body expects that thing. And then that translates to you as a craving. My body expects another donut. And so you keep feeding it donuts because you're craving donuts. And so it's almost like it's like a feedback loop. So what you need to do is break the feedback loop. You need to sort of go cold turkey on the donuts or the sugar for 3 days or, a few days. And if you can have the willpower for those few days, then the craving will go away. So is there a food that you can eat that will stop the craving for another food that you are putting into your body? No. But that so there's two types of cravings in a way. If you've taken care of your body might have a natural craving because it needs something. Let's say it needs potassium, so it craves a potato or a banana or some other food that's got potassium in it. But if you've distorted your system, the body's natural mechanism to balance it out is expecting then this distortion to keep coming in. So you have to come in as spirit and take charge and say no for a few days until that biochemical loop stops going. Listeners, you're tuning into Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and Corey. And
we're going for a short break.
And we'll be back.
Yeah. Chocolate break.
Water.
Okay.
Welcome back, listeners. You're tuning in to Unlocking Your Truth with Corey and Dr. Leslie. And tonight's show was requested by a couple of our listeners that they wanted to talk about, how the foods we eat and drink affect our intuition. So that's what we've been talking about all show. I think I kind of mentioned this a bit earlier, but there's so many toxins in our food as well.
Oh, no kidding, eh?
So many toxins in our food, and again, that's going to have a deleterious effect on the body. So I mean, I think it's good when you can to avoid toxins, and not everybody can afford to eat an organic diet uh, and so on. And so the other part of it is that you can control your own energy, and you can heal the energy of the food before you put it inside you. So do we have questions in the chat, Corey?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay.
I think everybody's just so enthralled in what you're saying that they haven't been able to write any questions down.
I've got two questions that George put earlier. They're not
Oh, okay.
to do with the show topic. I did
Okay, well,
I posted
I'll,
them in the chat
yeah,
there, in the Zoom
yeah,
chat.
let me read them for you. The first one says, how are you coping with narcissistic people around you? The type who have big ego, who would control others, who would take credit for other work, who would poison others' mind in order to control them or make them your enemies. Those who would steal others' love or attention all for themselves. I'm quite sure that these people are not uncommon. To me, this behavior has deep roots in their energy field. Not sure where. Any thoughts?
Okay. Wow. Let's see. What can we say about that? So, all right, you might not like the answer, George. Remember, anyone who shows up in your reality is mirroring something back at you. So if there's a kind of person that's bothering you, why are you getting triggered? What is it within you that is matching that person? And the trick to not get bothered by them is to clear out what it is within you that is matching them. And I'll give you an example from my own life. So I used to work in the biotech industry. So I met a lot of sociopathic people here and there, and people that bothered me. I don't have that in my life anymore because I changed, so my reality is different. But one of the exercises I still use to this day, and I teach people, is if you've got somebody showing up and you're really in resistance to them, use energy techniques. And the energy techniques that I teach, and actually there's a bunch of them in my book, my Intuition and Chakras book. There's actually a free course in that book that will teach you these techniques. But what you do is you basically cleanse your own system of what let me see if I can think of an example. I'll make up an extreme example. Let's say there's a person you work with and you cannot stand them. You just cannot stand to be in their presence. They really bother you. They really irritate you. And let's just say that person was abused when they were a child. And let's say you were. And let's say you haven't healed yourself from that. You haven't dealt with that within yourself. And so every time you see that person, you're getting lit up because within you is something that's matching within them. If you heal that thing that's within you, if you clear, in this example that I've made up, the abuse within you, next time you see that person, they're not going to have the same impact on you. So I know it can be really infuriating, and in the corporate world especially, there are people, aren't there, who manipulate and control and, for their own self-interest. And it can be absolutely infuriating, but the trick is not to resist it. and just not to play their competition games with them, and to be non-resistant, and to just keep your own vibration up and continue healing yourself. And the more you do that, the less those people are going to show up in your life. So that would be my answer for that. And I think he had another question too, unless anyone else in the Facebook group has posted a question.
Yes, I do have one, and let me just pull it up. And that question is from Tracy, and Tracy wants to know, can you go back to when you talked about blessing your food? Do you say something that will send the right energy?
Don't say anything at all. I mean, traditionally that's what people are doing, but it's based on the intentions that they're putting out. So in a way, it doesn't really matter what words. So Tracy's in my Unlock Your Intuition course. And this week it was module 1, and we learned the grounding technique. So for example, you could ground your food. You could give your plate of food a grounding cord, and then you could send any low vibration energies in that food, any harmful vibrations, down the grounding cord to cleanse the food. You could bring a column of high vibration energy from source and flow that through the plate of food and down the food's grounding cord. So you can imagine a gold light. So it's vibrational. You're adjusting the vibration of the food. You're bringing in high vibration energy, and you are releasing the low vibration energy before you eat it. And so you can do it by visualization and intention. You could do it by saying something. You can make up your own words. But you know, when people are blessing food, in a way, they're going into a vibration of love. So they're grateful for the food. They're appreciating the food. That vibration of gratefulness and appreciation is projecting out from their heart to the food, right? And then they're eating their meal from that vibrational perspective of gratitude. So there's no particular words that you need to say. It's more about the vibration that you bring. Hope that makes sense. Hope that answers the question.
Tracy says thank you.
Any other?
She says thank you for that answer, Dr. Leslie.
You're welcome.
Now, question number 2 from George. She says, a wise man told a friend that many healers are getting into health troubles after taking some of the damaging energies from their clients. I was very determined to learn to heal mostly to help a few people I know. But after this wise man looked up into a person I tried to help, I am told that this person needs to go through some pain based on the person's previous actions, and I should stay away from that. If I was like Jesus, then I would have had the ability to take others' suffering. Any truth in this?
Jesus did not take other people's suffering. Anyway, let me answer the question. Ever heard of Chiron the Wounded Healer? That's kind of what you're talking about. Yeah, there are many healers who take on the energy of their client. There are many healers who don't know how to manage their own energy and how to keep the energy of their client separate from their own energy. There are many healers who mistakenly use their own energy to help someone else, or mistakenly take in someone's problem in order to try and transform it. That's not a clean way of giving and receiving. That's not a clean way of doing healing work. Remember, we were saying everybody has a unique vibrational frequency. That's the vibrational frequency that belongs within your energy field. And so any other energy that's not that is going to have a distortion and a misalignment within your energy field. So is that a real true problem? Absolutely it is. And what is the solution? The solution is to become an energy master, to learn about your how to control your energy, to be able to look at what other people are doing with their energy, and to have techniques so that that foreign energy, when it comes into your system, because it's pretty hard for it not to in some ways, release it, have it flow through you, not stick to you. And I gave you one of the keys to that is to clear how that person is mirroring you. So let's say somebody has developed bowel cancer because they've held on to anger. Let's say you're healthy, but you're holding on to some anger. You've got a matching picture with that person, you've got some matching energy with that person who's got the bowel cancer. So if you give them a healing and then forget about it, you know, their energy can stick to your energy of repressed anger. So the trick is to give the healing and then heal yourself. Heal yourself before the healing, heal yourself during the healing while you're healing the other person, and heal yourself afterwards. So clear how you're matching with that person, and then it's not going to stick to you. But that's a good question, and I'm going to go through the rest of your question. I'll answer the thing about Jesus and then see if we can come up with an answer for the thing in the middle. So you said, if I was like Jesus, I would be able to take on others' suffering. It's such a myth, and that's not what he did. I mean, there are old spiritual gurus that's what they did, but that is really not the way of it anymore. And so let's see. So what Jesus did was he was in such a high vibration of love, and he perceived everyone through love. He loved them. He loved them, and he was able to see them whole, healthy and whole, and love and accept them no matter what distortions were in their energy field. And with that power of love, the other person came into alignment. Jesus was so in alignment that the other person naturally moved into alignment in his presence. He did not take on other people's suffering and transmute it. That's a huge myth. And but you know, yeah, there's been gurus who do that, but now you see Jesus came here, as many other spiritual masters did. I think one of the famous things he said is, I am the way and I am the light. Because in the way he lived his life, he showed us an example of how it was possible for a human being to be. Now, they talk about the second coming of Christ. It's not Christ landing on earth and going, hey, I'm back. It's the time we're in now, where everybody is able to start to take conscious, to awaken, to be conscious of themselves, to be conscious of their energy, to move their vibration into the vibration of love. So that's how he healed people. That's how you can heal yourself, and that's how you can assist others to heal, is by being in the highest vibration possible, which is love. Okay, and then the middle bit, you said there was someone that you wanted to help, and then a wise person told you, or you told yourself, that that person needs to go through pain. So what does a healer do? A healer offers energy and insight. The healer is not the magician that heals the other person. So you cannot make a person better all on your own as the healer. That's not how it works. The person receiving the healing has to be ready to make a change. If they are ready to make a change and they want to make a change, if you introduce healing energy into their system, they will use that healing energy to make the positive change. If they're not ready and you introduce the same energy into the system, they're not going to use it for that because they're not ready. So it's entirely up to the person who's got the problem whether they're going to heal or not. So it's not really up to you. You don't even have to think about, well, let's see. So you said you tried to help and you're told that the person needs to go through some pain based on their previous actions. That person will go through pain until they decide they're ready not to go through pain. They do not have to be punished a certain amount of time because of previous actions. That's another myth. They have free will all the time to make the changes necessary to restore their health. And when they're ready, they'll do it. So they're not being punished for some past actions that they did. You can have something show up in your life as a result of past actions, right? But it's not a punishment, it's something you created, right? So you create your reality. So how you hold your energy today is determining what shows up in your reality as time rolls out. That applies in this lifetime, for future lifetimes, from previous lifetimes to this lifetime, right? But you do not have to be caught into that. You have free will, you have the choice to change that anytime you want. But are there people out there who are not ready to change? Plenty of them. I meet them every day. Or every day, that that they're in some way or other, they're attached to a belief or the attention that they get because of their illness or whatever it is for that person. And until they learn what they're doing, and consciously decide they want to shift it. Because a lot of people will come to a healer and they want the healer to take full 100% responsibility for healing them. It's not how it works. They are 100% responsible for healing themselves. The healer can be a kind of midwife, a kind of catalyst, an energy injector. They can facilitate the process. But if that person's not going to take responsibility for themselves, it's not going to happen.
Leslie?
Yeah.
It's the end of the show again. And we have a couple of questions, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to table those questions, unfortunately, till next week. And we'll answer those questions next week on the show. How's that?
Sounds good. Well, listeners, thank you for joining Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and Corey for this evening's show, which is there, how does the food and the substances we put into our bodies affect our intuition? We'll be back next Tuesday, 7 to 8 Pacific time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye, all.
And that was that. All right.